Hi, welcome to Silver Lining
Hello.
Laughter. So, Karen, we were a
Yes,
little long last time. Our show
we
ran a
were.
little long. So, we're
Yep.
going to be concise today. We're
Yes,
going to
that's fine.
start with talking about your boobs, and we're going
Oh,
to end with talking about your boobs. So, I'm going to need you to
okay.
be less entertaining than you were last time.
Okay.
So, we're going to keep to the boobs today.
How can I not be entertaining when it comes to boobs?
I don't know. So, we're
Okay.
going to give it a try.
Okay.
So, before we talk about your boobs,
Okay.
there's two illnesses I want to talk about that scare the shit out of me.
Okay.
The first one is Alzheimer's.
Yes. Very
I,
familiar with it.
I am so scared of getting Alzheimer's
Okay.
that it anytime just regular age stuff happens,
Hmm.
it's always like, am I getting Alzheimer's? Trying to do all the things, making sure that nothing's happening. And now I've learned there's as scary as Alzheimer's is, there's a
Okay.
scarier version.
Okay. Which is what? Let me guess. You don't remember.
I think it was really bad, but I don't remember.
That's not a joke. That's not a prank. Okay.
No, I do remember.
Okay.
If
All
you've
right.
seen the commercial, you would know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's
It
called
can't be shingles because shingles doesn't care.
No, Shingles Can Do. What? No, this is Angry Alzheimer's. Have you heard of
Okay.
it?
I have. I have. But I don't think it's anything new. Maybe I think it's just becoming people are becoming aware of it because from what I understand, I have I my brother and sister-in-law lived with her parents and her mother had Alzheimer's, maybe dementia, and then my aunt is going through this now. But I think what happens is if you're a really nice, happy person, then this can make you turn into really angry person and vice versa. If you're normally an angry person and you get Alzheimer's or angry Alzheimer's, then it makes you a nicer person. That's what I've heard and read and whatever.
Oh, okay. The commercial does not explain it that way,
I think
but
that's the
that
case. Now,
makes
I'm not a
sense though.
doctor except sometimes on this show.
Yeah, we're not giving any medical advice today. We're
No, no.
just talking. Yeah, so I just saw the commercial and I guess I can get pretty angry anyway, so I'll probably not get the angry Alzheimer's. Maybe I'll be very
Right,
nice.
right. Now, I don't know. I've never seen you really angry except when you hit me. But other than that,
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen that commercial for it, so I'm anxious to. I'm sure it said somewhere that you could take a pill for it or something, and if you're allergic to that, then you shouldn't take the pill, and you should ask your doctor about it. So just write it down and ask your doctor about it.
But if that's the case and you're suffering from that, you're probably going to forget to write all that stuff down and ask your doctor.
Well,
And
that's
I'm
why
not
you should
making,
write it down so that you can take that piece of paper unless you forget to take. Never mind, we can go down a rabbit hole here. But yes,
yeah.
you should. You should. I haven't heard about that, but maybe we'll look into it and we can make that, because there's a lot around dementia and Alzheimer's that we could get into because I've had experience with it. Maybe we could have a guest speaker on who knows a lot about it. Um, but yeah, I think that should be a whole other thing. Yeah, a
Yeah.
whole other topic.
Yeah, so I do think we should have a guest speaker on it and do a little research. I just saw the commercial. I really came in today and I wanted to talk a little bit about cancer
Okay.
because I know you know a lot on this subject. I've, I mean, so we'll stick to that. We'll do Alzheimer's another day. But
Okay.
I, I did want to talk about cancer. I know I've had many family members
Yep.
affected with cancer, lost many family members to cancer. Um, I know you had a breast cancer scare.
I had a lumpectomy in I think it was 1997, 2007, somewhere around there, and So I had a lumpectomy back then, and now I'm going through. They found something else in my right breast. I don't even know if you know this. They found something else, and recently, and in order, and because my mom had a scare with breast cancer, and my dad died of cancer, and my grandmother had cancer, my grandfather had cancer. Anyways, it runs through the house. It runs through the the family, that and depression. So I'm really, at a young age, I told my doctor, if you could just give me antidepressants now and some chemo as a preventative measure, that would be great. But he wouldn't do it. So, anyways, yeah. But because of this breast scare that I have going on now, they want to do more research on it. So I had to have the BRAC test, the
Yeah, I
BRAC
wonder.
analysis. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew
Yep.
you had that test, but I
Yep.
didn't know why. I
It,
don't
it's
think I knew your mother had a scare with specifically breast
Yeah,
cancer.
she
So,
she had like the beginning stages of cancer or something in her breast. I don't even know the whole story. But she took tamoxifen. Tamoxifen, it's a pill, once a day for 5 years. That's what she had to do. Now, my best friend from high school, she has been battling cancer and kicking its ass basically since we were 34. She had a double
wow.
mastectomy. From the double mastectomy, it spread several different places: her lungs, her abdomen, her, went throughout, back again behind her lymph nodes in her breast. And then it is most recently her brain. So, but this BRAC thing, you get the BRAC, it tells you whether you have the genes for cancer, for breast cancer. And then I actually, in October, I will go and do an MRI, get an MRI to make sure that everything is, because they think it's something, but I don't know what it is. I'm not worried about it.
But if you have the gene,
Hmm.
it just may you have increased odds of getting
Correct.
it.
Correct.
And then I assume, do you have to have mammograms even more often than once a year, or
I
is
I have a mammogram once a year, except for this past year and the year that thought they found something earlier. It was every 6 months. This year it was every 3 months, and then it went to 6 months, and then I had to have another one right after the 6 months. Like it was within a month, because you have to have the latest mammogram in order to get a prescription for the MRI. You cannot get a breast MRI without a prescription. And in order to have the prescription from your doctor to get the MRI, you have to have the most recent, a very recent mammogram.
hmm. So breast cancer, I think if it's caught early, it's one of the more curable
Very, very much so.
cancers.
Yep. I think
But
that's why a lot of women now get the BRCA, because if they have the gene for it, and they have a higher risk of getting cancer. Because what that analysis does is it tells you people of your age have a 10% chance of getting breast cancer, but you have a 75% chance of getting breast cancer. So they can take that analysis, and it's people your age and people, they do your current age and the age within 10 years, in the next 10 years or 5 years. So they give you those two things. And that way, if you're higher than 50%, then they talk about the double mastectomy. And they say, okay, you 10 years from now, you have a 20% chance of getting cancer. Don't recommend the double mastectomy. But 10 years from now, you're in the 75% chance of getting, breast cancer. Then you might want to consider a double mastectomy. These numbers vary for everybody. Obviously, it depends on how old you are, if it runs in your family, what the odds of you getting it. But that's what I know from personal experience.
Yeah, and I never knew it was that detailed, right? Like I thought you just had it this test and it told you yes or no you had the gene. I didn't
Yep.
realize it ran down by age, percentage. So it's
Yep.
a I mean, I guess you would suggest that if anybody had breast cancer in their family. Now,
Yep.
is it just breast cancer or can you get tested for is there a gene that runs for pancreatic or liver or
You
colon
know,
or all the other?
I don't know if there's a test for that or not. I think the BRAC analysis stands for actual breast research and something. I'm not, I don't know what it stands for. It could stand for beer, rum, and cocaine for all I know. I have no idea. But I know that this BRAC analysis is strictly for the breast scans. And then it
Yeah.
does give you, you know, um, and when I went in, my doctor, she said, okay, well, I'm going to go over these questionnaires with you. I said, oh, can I fill it out when I get home? And she goes, no, it's on the computer. I'll just do it right now. I'm going to answer them for you. That's how quickly she wanted me to get this test done in order. And you have to see if you qualify for even taking the test. If your mom has, had cancer, if your grandparents, if your maternal grandparents, if your paternal grandparents, all this stuff, it goes through all these questions. Have you ever smoked? Have you done this? Have you done that? And she answered all those questions. We answered all those questions in the office right that minute. There was probably like 20 or 30 questions. We went down it. And within, I don't know, 2 minutes, it told me that I was a high risk and that I should get the BRCA analysis.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just processing that.
No,
That's
I
a
get it.
lot of information. So it makes you wonder. So many people get cancer, and not just
Yep.
breast cancer, but some type of cancer. And
Yep.
I've got two theories. One theory that I've always wondered, and I've wondered this for years, like, do we all have cancer?
And it's just not
And
showing up.
it just, yes,
It
it shows up and grows at different times in different
could
places.
be. Could be. I know that. I mean, that could be. I never thought of that really, but it's probably. I don't think it's really that far fetched to think that. I mean, I know I want to say, and I hope I'm remembering this correctly, but I know someone who, and I'm not going to say who because I don't
Yeah.
want to misquote anything. It's a family member, but um, she was totally fine. Everything was normal. When she had a baby, um, she found out she had rheumatoid arthritis. And supposedly everybody has rheumatoid arthritis, or she had it the whole time, but she didn't know it until she was pregnant and had a baby because that's when something triggered the disease in her. So I think about that. I'm like, I wonder, like do we all have rheumatoid arthritis and we just don't know until something triggers it, something in the childbearing phase, or I don't know. I don't know, we could all have cancer. It's like um I talk to my brother all the time. It's like we're going to die of something, and we're, who knows what it's going to be from. If it's not cancer, it's going to be something else. So who knows? It's a good theory. It's a good theory. I would vote for you
Oh,
if you were president.
yeah. Yeah. So building on the rheumatoid arthritis thing, I have psoriatic arthritis.
Yep.
So as a child, didn't know I had even psoriasis. I just thought I had really dry, scaly patches on my elbow. Nobody knew what it was, it's whatever.
Right.
And then I want to say a decade, maybe a little over a decade ago, I got psoriatic arthritis, but I didn't know it was psoriatic arthritis. I was like, my joints were hurting, like I was crawling up the steps, like it was really bad. And then I go to the doctor and they're like, that's psoriasis on your elbows. They do a few tests or
Right.
whatever, and like you have psoriatic arthritis. So I think that I had always had it, but because of stress, it
Right.
showed
It
up
flares
or it
up.
flares.
Yeah.
And now it's like I'm even afraid to say it. I want to knock on wood, but it's mostly in remission
Okay.
and it'll flare up occasionally if
Right.
I'm super stressed or I'm not getting enough sleep
Yep.
and if I've had too much gluten. Like, I don't
Yep.
have to eat gluten free. It's not celiac disease, but I
Right.
guarantee you, if I had like bread or pasta every day for like 5 days or something in a
Right.
row, I would start to develop problems because I
A
did
flare
all
up.
those
Yep.
scary medications you're talking about. Like,
Yep.
hey, this medication might kill you, but it could cure your psoriatic arthritis.
Right.
So I did that for a while. They all made me feel really better. I had an allergic reaction to almost every single one.
Oh, wow.
So I had to stop taking them, and I just did, let me cut out the gluten, and then that started to work. And then just
Right.
different lifestyle changes worked. But I know I'm not cured. I I still get the psoriasis,
Right.
which isn't as bad as when the psoriatic arthritis kicks in, but
Right.
I know it could just,
Yeah.
I hate the word flare, but there's not really
Right.
another word for it. It could just flare up at
Right.
any time. So then you got to think, is cancer kind of that same way? And we all have it, and then certain things build
Certain
it and
things.
grow. And I don't know. That's just a theory.
Okay. What's your other theory then? Because I
Okay.
think it's a good
I
theory.
think I have two more theories
Okay.
because the first one that I was going to say is I find it really odd with all the medical advances
Yeah.
and technology and AI and all this stuff
Yeah.
that we still cannot cure cancer.
Yep.
I mean, I, sometimes we can cure it, right? If we catch it early, it can be completely cut out.
Yeah.
But once it's spread, it's it can become incurable.
Right.
And I struggle with that. And I'm not even going to get into the healthcare system and the insurance
Yeah.
and how
That's
expensive
a
it is.
that's
Oh my
another
God, that's a whole,
podcast.
well, we've got another guest. Oh, we've got another guest with us today, folks. But yeah, but I think that they're almost purposely not curing cancer because they make so much money from it.
Well, I've heard that from several people. I've also heard that they do have a cure for it. Um, they're just not sharing with everybody because they're making so much money from it. And I've heard that, one person who told me that said, "No, I think the government, I think they have a cure for cancer. Have you ever heard of a president dying from cancer?" No.
No, I had to
Now,
think.
yeah, I mean, but that's what they say. I don't know. Maybe they do have a cure, and you know they're not telling people. Maybe they have a cure and they're saying, okay, this will cure it, but only give it to the people who are, you know, just found it and are curable or whatever. I have no idea. It's a
Top two
theory.
percenters or something
Right,
like,
right.
which, I mean, that's probably the case, but that is so unethical.
Yeah, I know.
Like it just, I can't even, but I could see that being the case because
Yep.
I mean, if you think back to the 80s and HIV,
Yes.
like
Yep.
that was uncurable. And then throughout the years, we learned more and progressed and
Yep. Now
leaps
it's
and bounds over where we've
yes.
come with cancer.
Yes.
I feel like not
Yep.
that one's more important or not important, but it's just like I feel that we could have made those same strides with
Yes.
cancer.
I agree.
Now, this third theory, I don't know if I believe it, but I'm going
Okay.
to throw it out there just to get
Okay.
your reaction because this came from a nurse,
Okay.
but many, many decades ago,
Okay.
nurse. Like I was a
Okay.
kid
Okay.
and she was 100. No, not 100, but she was like really, really old then.
Okay.
And so I don't know if it falls more under the wives' tales
Okay.
or if there's actual research that could be pulled and looked into.
Hey, well, maybe one of our viewers will know
Oh,
something
we
about
welcome
this.
feedback on any
Yes.
of this,
Yes.
especially if you've got that cure for cancer, then
Yeah, really.
let us know. So, this nurse swore this was true. She told
Okay.
my mom this story. I believe I was there, but my mom still swears and lives by this. And my mom doesn't even go to the doctor
Okay.
because of stuff like this. But she said, if you have cancer,
Yeah.
you have to try to fight it by doing anything other than surgery. Because if you have surgery and they open you up and the cancer hits the air, if they leave, if there's a tiny little bit or whatever that they don't get, something about the open air spreads that cancer so much faster and than it would if you never were cut open.
Got it.
I didn't say I believed it. I just said this
Okay.
came from a nurse,
Okay.
old school nurse.
Old school nurse. I am going to have to ask several of my nurse friends and um, actually my cousin's a doctor, a very highly reputable doctor. I might have to ask on that. I
Maybe
also
your
want to.
cousin should not watch this show. Because I don't want anybody offended. We're just having a conversation.
Right,
But if
right.
they've got some, maybe we'll bring, that's what we should probably do is bring on medical professionals when we're going to
Right.
talk about serious issues.
But you know
But
what? This is silver lining laughter. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
we can only bring topics to discussion. It doesn't mean we are right in any way, shape, or form.
Exactly. We're just throwing
We
it out
can
for
we're
debate
just
and to
making
think about it.
topics. Yep. Yep. We're just bringing topics to the table that our viewers uh, had mentioned or that we had talked about or we're expanding on in our own personal lives for the pleasure of our viewing audience.
Yeah, so I really want to know about the spreading faster if they don't get it all, because technically I want to say she's probably crazy, but unfortunately I see how
Right.
that could be the case because for many reasons. First of all, you've put your body under stress. We already
Right.
know stress can trigger psoriatic arthritis
Yep.
and possibly rheumatoid arthritis. I
Right.
mean, having children can, and that's stressful.
Yep.
But so you're putting your body
I
add additional stress, you're opening
right.
it up to air, you're throwing off your natural balance on the inside, like
Yep.
growing mold or fungus on the outside world. Like, what are you doing to
Right.
yourself?
Well, I mean, take the cancer part out of it, anytime you have an open surgery like that, or to bring other substances into your body, there is more cause for infection, sepsis or whatever that is, and like Mercer, um, whatever. There's, so yeah, I would say, I mean, even if I was at the lake once and I had a puncture wound on my ankle, and the lake water got in there, and I got very sick after. Uh, I guess it was like within 24 hours, I got really sick. Went to the doctor, and he said you have a blood poison in your system. Like
Wow.
I had a blood disease, like a blood poisoning, and they had to put me on steroids immediately, and I was sick as a dog. But I mean, so
But
anytime
really
your body,
strong?
yeah, any anytime your body's opened up like that. So I mean, I'm not saying it's not true. I'm not saying it is true, but it's interesting. Interesting thought. Interesting. We're gonna have to ask Dr. Google.
Okay. All
Yep.
right. So that's my theories.
All right.
You
Well,
got
let's
anything
see.
else on the subject?
I don't. Let's open this up to our viewers and see if we get any questions on it or some comments, and see. And maybe we'll take this a little bit further next time if anybody has any questions or comments on it.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. So now, sticking with your breasts, we're going to play a little off the top.
Okay, off the top.
Yep, you can leave your shirt on again, but I, I have four questions today since we went
Okay,
too long last time. So I got four instead of
right off the
five.
top of my head. Go.
All right. Would you rather give up air conditioning or heating?
Heat,
Heat.
heat. Oh, I don't know. Maybe air conditioning. It's funny. No, I don't know.
Mm,
I'm gonna say. I'm going to say air conditioning. Because you can always get fans and stuff. You don't have to have AC. A lot of people still don't have AC to these days. And I can jump in the pool when it's hot and I can take a
Oh,
shower
you
when it's
said give
hot.
up air conditioning. You meant give up heating.
No, I want to give up. Yes, I want to give up. No, I want to give up AC.
Okay. Yeah, and I think if we didn't live in Atlanta or in like a hot southern,
Right.
like, well, every place is hot right now, but
Right.
different show. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But if we lived up north, we would say we got to keep our heating and we never would even think twice about the
Right.
question.
Right.
But in Atlanta, everybody's like, well, probably heat because we don't
Yeah.
use it that often. Um, Ooh, would you rather have BO,
Yeah.
that's body odor,
Yeah.
and not know it, or smell BO on everyone else?
Yes. This is my neighbors. Every time they go by and they see me out here, they beep and wave. Um, I would rather, I'd rather not know I have it. Because if I don't know it, it doesn't bother me. But if I smell it on other people, that's just gross.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I'd probably go that route, but then I feel like I'm grossing everybody else out.
Yeah, I agree.
But then if
Not my
everybody
problem.
else had it, I would just have to walk around with like nose plugs.
Just stay away from them.
Yeah,
But everybody had it, then this world would stink anyways, which,
I don't know if this one's got a good answer, but I this would you
okay.
rather run into an alien or Bigfoot?
I think Bigfoot.
Yeah,
Because I always take pictures and I always take, alien, I no telling where I would end up, but I think Bigfoot,
he's probably going to leave you alone.
yeah,
Yeah, and aliens, that's probably more likely to happen. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm a Sasquatch believer.
Oh, okay.
I would love to see Bigfoot. That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. And hopefully you would get a picture
I
that would
know.
look like a picture instead of that blur that.
Yeah, like the Loch Ness monster.
Mhm. All right. Would you rather shout all the time, everything he said, you just shout it out, or only be able to whisper? I agree. I think I'd always be able to. I'd do the whispering too. Although, wouldn't that really suck if you were watching something about to happen? Like, look out for that car! Don't step backwards. Like, you wouldn't be able to stop anything. You'd be like,
Yes. But you know what? The whole animation of your reaction could be loud enough.
if they're looking at you.
Right, but yeah, but I mean, if you're shouting everything you're saying, then right
No,
now that would be annoying as all get out.
would it really?
Yes, inside voice, inside voice.
Yeah, and if you're shouting all the time when you needed to shout, no one would pay attention. Like if you said, look out for that car, because they're
Right.
like, she's just shouting
Boy,
again.
boy crying wolf.
Hmm.
All right.
All right. Well, we were concise today.
Yes,
So,
we
yes,
were.
please, if you have any answers to our questions on angry Alzheimer's or cancer, write
Yep.
in, let us know.
Yep. Make a comment, like us, share us, and tune in next time for whatever you decide we're going to talk about.
And if anybody has any topics they would like for us
Yes.
to talk about, let us know and we will fill it in.
Yes. And we did get some comments on the pranks from last time, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was really fun hearing from some of those we pranked.
Yep.
Yeah.
And some of those who wish that they were part of the pranks.
Exactly. All right.
All right.
Well, have a good evening and we will talk to y'all later.
See you next
Bye.
time.